The moment the words left my mouth, I wished I could pull them back. It was a bright Saturday afternoon, the kind of day when sunlight poured through windows and made ordinary moments feel golden. I was standing in my best friend's kitchen, laughing over burgers and iced tea, when I made a joke that changed my life forever. "Your mom's hotter than girls I've dated." The room went silent. My friend, Rylan, nearly choked on his drink. I laughed nervously, expecting everyone else to laugh too. Instead, his mother looked at me for a long moment, her eyes filled with an expression I couldn't understand. Then she smiled. And what she said next made my heart stop. "So, wanna go out with me?" Before we continue, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to A Journey of Hearts if you believe in kindness, second chances, and unexpected love stories. Your support helps these heartfelt stories reach more people around the world. For a second, I honestly thought she was joking. Everyone did. Rylan burst out laughing. I laughed too. Even his mom laughed. But there was something different in her eyes. Something serious hidden beneath the humor. I tried to ignore it. After all, I was 28 years old. She was 46. And she happened to be my best friend's mother. Nothing about that situation made sense. My name is Callum Hayes, and until that afternoon, my life had been painfully ordinary. I worked as a project manager for a construction company. My days consisted of deadlines, meetings, coffee, and empty evenings spent scrolling through my phone. I had dated several women over the years, but every relationship seemed to fall apart for the same reason. Nobody stayed. Nobody really saw me. Most relationships felt rushed, superficial, or temporary. I had started believing that meaningful love simply wasn't meant for me. Rylan and I had been friends since high school. He was one of the few people who remained in my life through every phase. His father had passed away years earlier after a sudden illness, leaving him and his mother, Marissa, to navigate life together. Marissa was one of those rare people who seemed capable of making anyone feel welcome. She remembered birthdays. She baked cookies for neighbors. She volunteered at community events. She checked on elderly residents during storms. People loved her because she genuinely cared. I respected her deeply. But I never thought about her in any romantic way. At least, that's what I told myself. A week after the joke, I stopped by their house to help Rylan move some furniture. He got called into work unexpectedly, leaving me alone with Marissa for nearly 2 hours. We sat on the back porch drinking lemonade while summer sunlight danced across the garden. For the first time, we actually talked. Not as my friend's mother. Not as someone much older. Just two people sharing stories. She told me about her dreams when she was younger. She talked about becoming a mother at 20. She talked about losing her husband. The loneliness afterward. The fear. The years she spent pretending she was fine so her son wouldn't worry. I listened. Really listened. And something shifted inside me. When I left that evening, I couldn't stop thinking about her. Not because of how she looked. Because of who she was. Over the next few months, our paths crossed more frequently. Community events. Barbecues. Charity drives. Birthday celebrations. Every conversation seemed easier than the last. Every interaction felt natural. Comfortable. Safe. One evening, I found myself sitting alone in my apartment staring at my phone. I had received a message from Marissa thanking me for helping repair a fence earlier that day. A simple message. Nothing unusual. Yet I smiled for 10 minutes afterward. That scared me. Because suddenly I realized something dangerous. I liked her. Not casually. Not temporarily. I genuinely liked her. The realization filled me with guilt. What kind of friend develops feelings for his best friend's mother? I tried distancing myself. I stopped attending gatherings. I avoided calls. I buried myself in work. But feelings don't disappear simply because they're inconvenient. If anything, they grew stronger. Months passed. Then one rainy afternoon everything changed. I was driving home from work when my phone rang. It was Marissa. Her voice sounded shaky. Her car had broken down on the side of a highway several miles outside town. Without thinking, I drove straight there. Rain poured relentlessly. Traffic crawled. When I finally arrived, she looked exhausted and overwhelmed. I helped arrange a tow truck and drove her home. The entire ride felt strangely emotional. Neither of us spoke much. Yet somehow silence said everything. As we pulled into her driveway, she looked at me. There was sadness in her eyes. And loneliness. The kind that comes from carrying too many burdens alone. For a moment neither of us moved. Then she quietly thanked me. I nodded. But something inside me refused to let the moment end. Because I knew. She mattered to me. Far more than she should. That night I barely slept. The following week, Marissa invited me to a local charity fundraiser. Rylan couldn't attend. Part of me knew I should decline. Instead, I said yes. The fundraiser was held outdoors beneath hundreds of hanging lights. Music drifted through the evening air. Families laughed. Children played. The atmosphere felt magical. Marissa looked beautiful. Not because of expensive clothes or makeup. Because she looked genuinely happy. At one point we found ourselves walking beside a lake illuminated by reflections of string lights. For several minutes neither of us spoke. Then she broke the silence. She admitted she enjoyed spending time with me. More than she expected. My pulse raced. I admitted the same. The truth hung between us. Terrifying. Unavoidable. Real. For the first time, we acknowledged what had been growing quietly for months. Not attraction. Connection. The kind that develops through trust, understanding, and friendship. Neither of us knew what to do next. The biggest obstacle wasn't society. It wasn't age. It wasn't gossip. It was Rylan. My best friend. Her son. Neither of us wanted to hurt him. So we agreed on one thing. Honesty. No secrets. No hidden relationship. If anything happened between us, he would know first. The conversation with Rylan was one of the hardest moments of my life. When we sat him down, he immediately sensed something serious. The moment we explained, his face changed. Shock. Confusion. Anger. All at once. He stood up and walked away. For weeks he barely spoke to either of us. Those were painful days. I questioned everything. Maybe we were making a mistake. Maybe some relationships weren't meant to happen. Maybe caring about each other wasn't enough. Marissa struggled too. The possibility of losing her son's trust broke her heart. Several times she suggested ending things before they truly began. But every time we tried stepping away, it felt wrong. Because what existed between us wasn't reckless. It wasn't selfish. It was real. Eventually, Rylan agreed to meet me alone. We sat at a diner where we'd spent countless afternoons as teenagers. The conversation lasted nearly 3 hours. He asked difficult questions. I answered honestly. I told him I respected his mother. I told him I would never intentionally hurt her. I told him my feelings weren't based on appearance or excitement. They were based on knowing her. Understanding her. Caring about her. When I finished speaking, he stared at the table for a long time. Then he said something I'll never forget. He admitted that after his father died, he worried his mother would spend the rest of her life alone. He admitted he hated the situation because it felt strange. But he also admitted something else. He hadn't seen her smile this much in years. That conversation didn't solve everything instantly. Healing took time. Trust took time. Acceptance took time. But it was a beginning. Slowly, things improved. Months turned into a year. Marissa and I built something beautiful together. Not a perfect relationship. A real one. We supported each other through challenges. Celebrated victories. Shared ordinary moments. Cooked dinners. Took long walks. Watched sunsets. Laughed until our sides hurt. The happiness wasn't dramatic. It was steady. And somehow that made it even more meaningful. Then came another unexpected challenge. People talked. Small towns always do. Whispers followed us. Judgments surfaced. Some people criticized our age difference. Others questioned our motives. At first those comments hurt. But eventually we learned something important. People judge stories they don't understand. The only opinions that truly mattered belonged to the people living the story. And we knew the truth. We knew how we felt. We knew the respect and love behind our relationship. Years later, standing on a hill overlooking a valley painted gold by afternoon sunlight, I asked Marissa to marry me. There were no crowds. No cameras. No elaborate plans. Just two people who had found unexpected happiness after years of loneliness. She cried. I cried. And somehow we both laughed at the same time. When she said yes, it felt like the entire world became brighter. The wedding was small. Simple. Beautiful. Rylan stood beside me as my best man. Looking across the room and seeing him smiling remains one of my favorite memories. Because it represented something larger than acceptance. It represented understanding. Growth. Forgiveness. Family. Many years have passed since that day. Life still isn't perfect. No life ever is. But every morning I wake up beside someone who knows my flaws and loves me anyway. Someone who became my best friend before becoming my partner. Someone who taught me that love doesn't always arrive the way we expect. Sometimes it appears in the most unlikely places. Sometimes it challenges every assumption we've ever made. And sometimes a single joke leads to an entirely different future. If this story has touched your heart so far, please like the video, leave a comment, and share it with someone who believes love can appear when least expected. Your engagement helps spread stories that remind people not to give up on hope. Special request: comment below with the words, "Second chances matter," if you believe everyone deserves an opportunity to find happiness, no matter when it arrives. Today, when I think back to that sunny afternoon in the kitchen, I still laugh at how everything began. One careless joke. One unexpected response. One moment that seemed impossible. Yet life has a strange way of leading us exactly where we're meant to go. Sometimes the people who change our lives aren't the ones we spend years searching for. Sometimes they're already standing quietly nearby, carrying their own wounds.